Good morning and welcome to week 16 of the Destination Fantasy Podcast. My name's Jamar. I might be solo today, maybe not, we'll see. But nevertheless, this is in a lot of leagues the second week of the playoffs. If you made it this far, congratulations. Um, but it's definitely have been a crazy start to round two of the playoffs. So I'll get into a couple of game recaps, go with the slate, any questions about lineups, things like that. You know, I'm here. Uh, I know Deshaun, he's I think at work, but he should be floating around in the comments this morning as well. So yeah. All right. So the first game, because we definitely gonna get to my Bears, trust me. But uh first game was on Thursday. Seahawks, Rams. I'll tell you exactly what happened for me. So I was watching this game. I started to doze off. When I finally turned it off, the Rams had went up 30-14. I pretty much turned the game off, went to sleep, and yeah, apparently I missed a finish for the ages on that one. But nevertheless, if you have Puka Nacua, you felt pretty good. If you're going against Puka Nacua, it felt like going against Kyle Pitts in round one, but at least, Puka is capable of doing this on a consistent basis as opposed to Kyle Pitts, who just, popped up out of nowhere. But nevertheless, Puka Nacua, 12 catches, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns, get you 46.5 points, which is insane. And Deshaun said, for all that made it this far, congratulations. It's been a rough year. I know for Deshaun personally, he's definitely had a rough year. But I will say he's definitely making strides in our dynasty league, and we could probably comment about that later. But nevertheless, I mean, if you've like I mentioned before, if you made it this far, you're still in it. Pat yourself on the back. I mean, you still got a chance. So in the 9 leagues that I'm in, I started made the playoffs in 6. So I'm still alive in 5. But to be honest with you, like usually the week before the championship, I'm more nervous about this week than I am usually the championship week. That's just how it is. Because like me and Deshaun talked about it last week, you could have like a spectacular record. You could have a first round bye, 1 seed, 2 seed, whatever the case may be. You just happen to go against a team that's pretty hot, and it just seemed like all that work that you did all year to have that first round bye is for nothing. It's it's part of the game. It's part of fantasy. It happens that way. But yeah, back to this Rams Seahawks game. I mean, if you started Stafford, I mean, the man threw for over 450 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, no picks. Um, Kenneth Walker. Now we know in that backfield, that's been a very, I guess my family say it doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies in that backfield because it seems like Walker could be doing well, then all of a sudden it'd be a Charbonnet week, and there hasn't been any consistency in years past. It was, we call him Kenneth Skywalker because he, just out here, shattering defenses and things like that. But nevertheless, he came to play. 11 carries, 100 yards on the ground and a touchdown. He also had 3 catches for 64 yards, 25.4 fantasy points for the game. Yeah, man. So Deshaun said, pretty sure Kenneth Walker III is on a lot of benches. Gotta love fantasy football. Yeah, that's one of those to where if you had no choice and had to play him, it worked out in your benefit. It definitely did. It definitely did. I could tell you about a player that was probably played in this game that should have been on people's benches. And that's Parkinson. Because he's came into this game pretty hot, had 6 touchdowns in the last 6 games before Thursday's game. And he puts up 2 catches for 21 yards, 4.1 points. Yeah, that definitely could have went better. And for me, I think I played Parkinson in at least 2 leagues. So yeah, I got some catching up to do. But I could say in one of the leagues, I did have Puka in the same lineup. So that So Puka kind of like, covered the tab on that one. Uh, and then JSN. So once again, I turned the game off. It was 30-14 in the fourth quarter. Sam Darnold looked like he was seeing ghost out there again. The offense was anemic except for the running backs. JSN didn't really get involved, but apparently, I wake up in the middle of the night and I see JSN, 8 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown, got you 23.6 fantasy points, pretty much well within, his point total this year. So he, at the end of the game, he produced. So yeah. If you happen to have Puka, you feeling good. If you went against Puka, I feel for you. I do. So, all right. And then we had 2 Saturday games. The first one was Commanders hosting the Eagles. The Eagles first time officially back-to-back NFC East champs for the first time since they had their run over 20 years ago. So, congrats to them. But all right, nevertheless, Saquon, I mean, he has been a disappointment this year, but he did enough to come to play. 21.2 fantasy points. I mean, 132 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So finally got some good, return on investment. If you're still in the playoffs with Saquon Barkley, that could be a thing. You might not even have been in the playoffs. So nevertheless, Jalen Hurts, I mean, 19.4 fantasy points. That's solid. It's not the ceiling that you want, but it's definitely higher floor than most. Considering he only had 40 yards on the ground, there wasn't no tush pushes in the end zone either. He threw for his 2 touchdowns, 185 in the air. AJ Brown, I mean, he had the game that you needed to have. The only thing that was missing was a touchdown, but nevertheless, 9 catches for 95 yards, 18.5 fantasy points. Person I don't even have up here, but Devontae Smith, 6 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert, if you started him, 3 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown. So pretty much all 5 of the Eagles, I guess, core fantasy players actually, for the better part, was productive if you started them. So I guess you can't, be too mad at that. Rodriguez, if you, for whatever reason, happen to start, because we had a question about that in the Discord with a list of running backs, and he was one of the people. But if you did start him, 13.9 fantasy points, I mean, trust me, it could be a lot worse than that. You could have started Terry McLaurin, 8.3 fantasy points. So, all right. Now, this game was, fireworks for me personally. I mean, you see the poster behind me. I am wearing, a Bears hoodie. Before I came on here, I was out in the elements. It's cold in the Chicagoland area. I did take my talents to Walmart this morning, but nevertheless, I did see a lot of people with Bears gear on, just so you know. But yeah, so my Bears, overtime thriller, 22-16 over the Packers. Shout out to DJ Moore with the cheese grater on his head after the game. But nevertheless, and speaking of DJ Moore, it's crazy because I mean, he hasn't been the most productive player in the offense this year, and there's a lot of factors that's went into it, between a lot of mouths to feed, because we got a lot of playmakers on the team, to maybe just not even being part of the scheme that particular week. And honestly, if you have DJ Moore on your team this late into the playoffs and you're still alive and you played him, I mean, it turned out to be well, and I know a bulk of that was on that game-winning touchdown, but nevertheless, we get the fantasy points how we get them. In one of the leagues, in the Dynasty League that I'm in, I played DJ Moore. I would say for a vast majority of the game, it was kind of lackluster, but it panned out for me. But nevertheless, 5 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown. Caleb Williams, once again, based on how the game was going. Like the Bears couldn't generate any offense, any touchdowns per se, until they cut the cue on, and last 2 minutes of the game, Iceman came out there and did his thing. 250 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He also had 3 carries for 30 yards on the ground. Got you 21 fantasy points in that game. All right, what do we have here? Oh, the infamous, the famous Michael Bush. Sean, where you at, man? Our boys here. Solo show today? Yeah. Well, I may have somebody pop in, but Sean's at work. A couple other people, I think, getting to the money. But nevertheless, I'm here. All right. So John said, "What's up, Jay Lee? If Jordan Love plays the whole game, it doesn't reach overtime. In my opinion, yeah, you're probably right, because I feel like we would have won the game in regulation. Malik Willis actually, I feel like his rushing ability made it tougher for us in that game, because we game plan for Jordan Love, not for a scrambling quarterback. And it definitely made things a little bit more tougher, because when Jordan Love was in the game, I mean, Jordan Love is good, but I feel like our game plan was tailored to him per se. But, nevertheless, it is what it is. I mean, Jordan Love, I mean, that's part of the game. Injuries do happen. Unfortunately, I mean, I never wish injury upon anybody. Heck, I started Jordan Love in 2 leagues, so I'm not feeling the greatest about that part, but it is what it is. We didn't have our 2 pass catchers, Roma Dunze or Luther Burden III, and made it a little bit more difficult for us to move the ball. So, what can you say? All right, what's that? Me too, baby, playing for a championship and all three leagues. Hey, that's what we want, man. That's what we want. We want everybody on here. Unless you're in the league with me, we want everybody on here, to get to the finals and win it all. That's exactly what we want. But yeah, Romeo Dobbs, as far as a fantasy perspective, I mean, he was the only one for the Packers that really, showed up. 5 catches, 84 yards, and that touchdown. I mean, Malik Willis threw a pretty darn good pass. And that was a pretty good play call and a pretty good way to get him schemed open. So for me, that was very deflating to see that play in a game that was hard for touchdowns to come by. I felt like that felt like they were up 20 and not 10 at that point. But hey, Josh Jacob owners, I know that game was very disappointing, because once he fumbled, he was pretty much officially and unofficially benched for the rest of the game. That's what it felt like. So, I mean, if you started Josh Jacobs, I know you're not, feeling too good about that. All right, what do we got here? Oh, there's Deshaun. The famous. Congrats, bro. So, Deshaun is lurking in the comments, just so you know. All right, so, and then the Bears kicker, Cairo Santos, got you 14 points if you started him, but in a game that was very hard to kick field goal because the miles per hour on the wind was over 20. So, and it was, take everything with a grain of salt last night. But as a Bears fan, I am extremely happy this morning. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna go through the slate. Like I said, any questions, let me know. I guess I will indirectly try to work on this touchdown parlay as well. Look, it's 4 days before Christmas. If we can hit something here for some last minute shopping, by all means, or you just want to go into the end of the year off with a good note, let's do that too. So, all right, like Bush said, between Thursday's game and the game last night, it feels like we're in store for some really good football this weekend. I tell you what, the NFL may be a lot of things, but they generally get a lot of these primetime games right. They really do, and they have as of late. All right, Deshaun said, yeah, anyone who had to start pack players, it was rough outside of Dobbs. Yeah, so I know Dobbs was probably a flex play at best for a lot of people. So I know that that probably panned out. But if you had to start the likes of a Jaden Reed or especially a Josh Jacobs, which pretty much carried your team or been a very consistent part of your team, and to have that result is not a good feeling at all. And if you started any Christian Watson, uh, yeah, same deal. And if you started anybody else on the Packers, I would not understand why. All right. Michael Bush says, do you think there's enough on the table for Marvin Harrison to eat and Michael Wilson to eat given the matchup? Honestly, that's one of the things I've been debating about for the past couple of days, and even this morning, especially seeing the news that Marvin Harrison Jr. is likely to play. And it's like, when Harrison is out, Wilson turns into an all-pro receiver. And during the times that we've seen Marvin Harrison in the lineup, Wilson is an afterthought, but maybe just maybe that both can be productive. But if that's the case, it kind of limits, the ceiling for both in that regard. I mean, granted, it's against the Falcons, which we're hoping for a shootout, right? We're hoping for Kirk Cousins to look like what he did last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're hoping for all these players on both sides of the ball to just put up points and yards and everything else. That would be great. I am personally hesitant to play Michael Wilson. So there's a couple weeks I have Michael Wilson. There's I think one or two I'm still in. I know one for a fact that I have Marvin Harrison Jr. and I'm very hesitant. I am looking for other options because I don't want to play that game. I really don't want to roll the dice on that. But if I have to, then at least I know there's a chance based on the game flow and the applied team total and things like that. Deshaun said, to be honest, I pulled Christian Watson out in the last minute in favor of Marvin Harrison Jr. So at the moment, it's looking good considering Watson's output. Yeah, I don't blame you there. I don't blame you whatsoever. I mean, I'm pretty sure whatever Marvin Harrison Jr. Do today should be a lot better than whatever Christian Watson did, which was 2 catches for 17 yards. So if Marvin Harrison can get you at least 3.8 and more, then you definitely made the right decision. Of course, we won a lot more than that. Yeah, so yeah, if you can find a better option, I'll put it to you like this: if you just need some solid points, then okay. If you're behind and you need, I guess north of 20 type deal, then I don't have the warm and fuzzies about either one of those because they may cancel each other out, or it could just be a Trey McBride game like it has been like for every single game this year. So we'll see, but I would just say definitely use your gut feeling on that one. All right, so let's see what the slate looks like for the rest of the week. Got 13 more games. What do we got here? And so I don't know, for some reason ESPN has Wilson projected for more points than Harry. Yeah, I noticed the same thing, and I don't. So my thing is like, I wonder if they considering that maybe Wilson, I guess his chemistry lately, or more so his productivity lately, is definitely a big factor in that. Or maybe Wilson's running the number one routes in that offense with Harrison trying to work his way back in. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I mean, but I think their points, even though he has more, but I think they're kind of even per se. Because matter of fact, let me just go to the league that I have both on the same team. So yeah, uh, they got Harrison projected for 12.2 and Wilson projected for 14.14. So it's pretty similar. Says, do you think they're going to limit Harrison's snap count? That's what it seems. Yeah, I think that might be the intentions of it, but I mean, we've seen scenarios where where a team will come out and say that we're gonna have a limit on how many snaps he can play, and then next thing you know, he's out there for 95% of the snaps, got 10 catches for a buck 50 and 2 touchdowns. So it's like it's tough. This situation is tough. We know Falcons are not good against opposing wide receivers this year, so it's like you definitely want to take advantage of this matchup. It's just there is a level of uncertainty. You just have to take it with a grain of salt. All right. All right. So first game I'm gonna go over, which is not gonna be long at all. Uh, yeah. Jets Saints. Um I really don't have too much to say here. Let's see. Devin Neal went on IR. Uh, Kamara's probably not playing, so you got a running back by committee. Kind of wish Neal was playing. At least he was productive last week. I believe he found the end zone too. Uh, it's pretty much Chris Olave or nothing at all. If you gotta go with the Saints, none of these teams will be on my touchdown parlay by any means. Uh, Jets, I'm not even going to discuss that. Just so you know, I guess New Orleans is favored by 6.5, and the over under is 40.5. So there you go. Hold on, I think we got a comment here. All right, Deshaun said, yeah, I would say the heel injury for MHJ points would be more difficult to come by than a healthy Wilson who's been red hot. Yeah, it's tough. All right, Deshaun, if you're seeing this, so he's asking Wilson, Brian Thomas, or Shakir. All right, so Shakir's on the road at the Browns. Of course, we just discussed Wilson. Cardinals hosting the Falcons. And then Brian Thomas Jr. on the road at Denver. I do not like that one at all. I mean, based on situation, I'm leaning Wilson. I know Deshaun, you'll have your response here in a bit. I'm leaning Wilson. The matchup is better. Yeah, we just talked about the uncertainty but Brian Thomas Jr. has not been stellar at all this year, and then to have my fate sealed by him going to Denver in that matchup, I don't trust him. Not saying that he can't get it. It's just the path to getting there is a lot harder. And then Shakir, what, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 at best sometimes. And Deshaun can tell you a lot better than that because he has him on the Dynasty League team. But once again, going into the Browns in Cleveland, that's tough to play. And the over under is 41.5. I can't do it. I think by default for me, I would have to roll the dice with Wilson. And like Deshaun mentioned in the previous comment, I mean, he's been red hot. If he just be a PPR machine, like he can get you the points and don't even have to find the end zone. If he could just be that, then you're golden. So I would take my chances with Wilson in that scenario. Michael Bush, I definitely would. Right. All right. And speaking of Bills Browns, that's the next game on the slate. This matchup is interesting. So the Bills are favored by 10.5 on the road, which is insane. 41.5 over under. So James Cook and Josh Allen, those two stick out to me by far. I would imagine the Browns offense going to be more productive than they was last week against my team. I mean, it is what it is. We're playing pretty good football. But anyway, Bills defense is not the greatest. Yeah, they just signed what was it, Matthew Judon, that just got waived. But Bills defense can be had. So like Quinshon Judkins, if they scheme it properly, I mean he can be productive. Um, if you made it this far and have Jerry Jeudy on your team, consider yourself lucky. But this is also one of those I wouldn't even fool with it. I wouldn't fool with Jerry Jeudy. Fannin. So Fannin should get a lot of looks, but I know Bills are excellent against opposing tight ends. So, take it with a grain of salt. If the volume is there, volume usually trumps a lot of things. So take that in consideration. We just talked about Shakir. I wouldn't play it. Maybe Kincaid. So it's probably those three players off the Bills. Everybody else, I'm staying away from on that one. Okay, hold on. Got some comments in that just came here. All right, Deshaun Agree Wilson got to ride the hot hand. BTJ draws PS2. Good luck with that. All right, what said I thought the same. All right, he said that Bills matchup sounds like a James Cook game. I do believe Garrett will tie the sack record in this matchup. I think so too, and I know Josh Allen is going to be is a very hard person to bring down. But I mean, Deshaun said, Deshaun, like what Lil Wayne say? What's a goon to a goblin? I mean, because Myles Garrett is just as physical specimen as Josh Allen, if not more. So yeah, I think he does at least get one. He might break the record. I mean, we saw Josh Allen get throttled by the what defense was that? Houston. We saw Houston, put Josh Allen on the ground, I think 7 times in that game. And we know Houston's defense is pretty much the best in the league, but still, like, you got a Hall of Fame pass rusher coming at you. So just keep that in consideration. But yeah, I may consider James Cook for a TD on this. Maybe Deshaun, are you able to jot down a list over there? If not, it's fine. I know you not all the way here, but let me know if you can. If not, then I'll see what I can do to keep tabs on my end. All right. So this next one here, Chiefs, who are officially eliminated from the playoffs, which seems weird, but hey, that's the NFL for you. They're on the road at Tennessee playing the Titans. Chiefs are favored by 3. 37.5 over under. Okay, bet. Good job. All right, so you can jot them down. Bet. All right. All right, so with this matchup here, so there's no Rashid Rice. Of course, obviously, there's no Patrick Mahomes. Got Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Got a Titans defense that's anemic. You got the Chiefs that's not really playing for something, but Gardner may still Gardner if you get what I'm saying, aka Minshew mania. It could happen. So Travis Kelce is very intriguing to me. I mean, for one, once again, there's no Rice, so he should be getting a lot of looks. I mean, heck, when Mahomes went down, Gardner started looking Kelsey's way. And if Gardner with a full week of practice with first team reps with this offense, there is a possibility to where, and if Travis can actually catch the ball, that it might be one of those games. It might be. I think Kelsey has upside in this matchup more than usual. So just throwing that out there. I would say, Deshaun, I would throw Kelsey on the like list for TD this week. So jot him on the list. I mean, Pollard could be productive. Maybe in deep leagues, if you need a long shot, maybe Xavier Worthy with no Rice. Maybe he might, I guess, be more involved by default. We'll see. But yeah, definitely not the same type of feel for the offense if, Patty was playing. So it is what it is. All right. We have here. All right. Easton 7 go to, do you think Drake London's going to play? I do. I do. So, and with that, it I don't have the warm and fuzzies, as I like to say, because there's a couple things with that. So, coming off an injury, I mean, he's been, what was that, MCL? He's been sat down for several weeks now. I do have London on one of my teams, and I might have to play him by default, but I don't feel good about it. I do have Kyle Pitts in another league that I might have to play, and I just kind of wish that London would just sit out another week and let Kyle Pitts cook again. But what I can say is, if London plays, this is a matchup to where points can be scored, and I'm gonna get to it on this slate. But points can be scored. But I do think Drake London plays today. Kind of hope he don't, but I think he does. All right, James Cook like list, yeah. So we got Cook on the like list, Travis Kelsey on the like list. All right, and this next matchup here is definitely a lot more fantasy friendly than the last one. We got the Chargers going to Jerry's World to play the Cowboys. Cowboys officially eliminated from the playoffs, but I do believe that Dak and that offense is going to be out there trying to prove a point. Chargers definitely have quite a few things to play for here, so it's going to be some meaningful football on that regard. Dallas is favored by 1.5, 50.5 over under. That 50, anytime the over under is 50 or more, you expect some touchdowns to be scored. As far as the Cowboys are concerned, Deshaun, I say put CD on the like list as far as the touchdown. And then as far as, George Pickens, if you made it this far, you still got George Pickens. I mean, I feel like you still have to play him. I know the last couple of weeks he hasn't been as involved, or more so has been giving you the production that you've been expecting. But nevertheless, Chargers defense on the road this year, for what I recall, has not been the greatest. So points can be had, and as far as the Chargers are concerned, like I tell Deshaun every week, they have so many pass catches. It's like I don't know where to go as far as a touchdown, so I kind of just leave it alone on that one. But as far as fantasy concerned, look, I got Ladd in one of the leagues. I'm playing Ladd. I just, as we know, the Cowboys defense secondary is super trash. So all Chargers pass catchers definitely gets a boost in that regard. So Deshaun said yes, London will play. I think this is a get right game for GP. I like him as a high upside wide receiver too. Yeah, I can definitely see that. This is a matchup. This is definitely a better matchup for him and for that offense as well. The fact and also the fact that they're at home too, that kind of helps. So a lot of pass catchers in this game should thrive, in my opinion. All right. So, all right, as we move along, next one here, the Vikings heading all the way to New Jersey to play the Giants at MetLife Stadium. So, I do have mixed feelings about this game. Minnesota is favored on the road by -3, 43.5 over under. For starters, I like the Giants to win this game outright. That's just me. But I feel like expectations for the Giants and of course for the Vikings got to be, with a grain of salt, tempered, whatever the phrase you want to use. The Vikings defense is very aggressive. Um, and Jackson Dart, and what 6 of the games find himself in a blue tent being evaluated for a concussion this year. Um, so aggressive defense plus history of concussions, usually not a good mix there. So just keep that in mind. Tyrone Tracy has been good as of late. Um, if he can make it past the first level of the Vikings defense, then he can definitely be productive. If he can make the right reads, hit the right gaps, yada yada yada. Um, Wandale Robinson, I mean, he's been really good. Uh, Deshaun, we talked about it last week with Darius Slayton being uh, a high ceiling type guy, boomer bust type guy, and unless they use Slayton in quick slants or something, I don't know if Dart will have enough time to really, give him a chance as often. But if you need to, you know, have a boomer bust type player, I mean, Slayton would not. Outside of that, I mean, Slayton, he can get it on. It only takes one play. As far as the Vikings side, I mean, that backfield between Mason and uh, Aaron Jones. See, if you have to, fine, just because the matchup is good enough. But if the matchup wasn't, if the matchup was average or worse, I wouldn't even touch that backfield in this game. And of course, Justin Jefferson. I mean, if you made it this far with Justin Jefferson, I guess you just keep riding Justin Jefferson pulse. So, all right, and then I'm not touching this game for a touchdown at all. All right, next game, which I mean, it's pretty much the NFC South. It's going to be determined in the next 3 weeks. We got the Buccaneers going to Carolina. What we got here from Deshaun? All right, and just going back to the other game. Deshaun said, agreed on the Slayton analysis. I like Wandale today as a good flex option or a wide receiver 3. I agree. He's been good. He's been consistent, especially if especially if Dart can get the ball out quick. He can definitely benefit from that. I'm not touching Jettis. That's crazy to think. I mean, I just want to know the percentage of players, the percentage of people that's still alive that has Jettis on their team. That's the part for me. I think that'd be the more crazier part. The fact that you even made it this far with Jettis on your team. So I'm just curious. I'm just curious. All right, so yeah, Bucks at Panthers. I mean, the Buccaneers got all these pass catchers and weapons on offense, yet they're 7-7. And the Carolina Panthers, I have no idea who they are. I wish Ian was here. So Ian is a fan of a lot of teams. One of his teams is the Carolina Panthers. I just don't understand them. I don't fully trust this. And as far as a fantasy perspective here, Hold on. I think Deshaun said something else. He said the jet is still on the runway in 25. Hey, it didn't take off at all. It got stalled out. Stall him out, Devo. That's crazy. All right. Deshaun, what do you think about Mike Evans this week? Now, we know he came back last week on that Thursday night game against the Falcons, put up over 100 yards. Panthers defense is definitely better, but, Mike Evans is still that guy, a future Hall of Famer. Is Mike Evans, like, what do you, like, let me know what you think about Mike Evans on that one. The running backs in this game between Dowdle and Bucky Irving, I do like to a certain extent. I really like Rico Dowdle more than Bucky Irving between the matchups. Tedero and McMillan, he doesn't have a bad matchup at all. So if you need to play him, by all means. The Tampa Bay side, outside of Mike Evans, so many weapons. I just want to make sure the baker's man is actually baking and not like, the oven ain't working today per se, if you get what I'm saying. All right, Deshaun says, I like this Bucks game, bro. It should be a good one. And yes, I like Evans. He is still playing for that divisional chip. Yeah. I must say, when Evans does have extra motivating factors, extra bulletin board material, whatever the case may be, or realistic, real life situations, he does have a little edge to him. So, do you like anybody for a touchdown in this game, Deshaun? I'm a little hesitant. I know it's going to be scored. I'm just hesitant. If I did, I think it'd be Dowdle for me, but I don't know. We can come back to it. All right, this next one here. Points should be scored. Even with a rookie quarterback, points should be scored. We got the Bengals going to South Beach to play the Dolphins. Now, Deshaun sent me a nice update on T. Higgins not too long ago, saying wide receiver T. Higgins working to return from a concussion and listed as questionable is likely to play on Sunday. Source said he was a full participant on Friday. So I know there's been quite a few people that I know personally that has T. Higgins and wasn't sure if he's going to play or not. I mean, that does help. Of course, both these defenses are not great. I would say the Dolphins, outside of, Dolphins playing the Steelers last week, the Dolphins defense has looked a little bit better, but I guess Steelers brought them back down to reality. Joe Burrow, not a happy camper, but he does intend to play the last 3 games. He probably going to maybe come out here and prove a point. Of course, Chase going to be Chase, and at this point, I'm talking about both Chase. We got Jamar Chase and Chase Brown. I think both of them be productive. Matter of fact, all 4 of those players should be productive. And as far as the Dolphin side, this is pretty much Devon Achane or nothing at all. Like, that's it. That's all. Everybody else will take it with a grain of salt. All right, so got some comments here. So Sean says Ted Evans, Irving, Rico, all start worthy this week. No one for TD parlay. All right, fair enough. All right, Michael Bush says Judkins, Dowdle, Bijan, Chase Brown, Gainwell. He said he has to play 3 of them. All right, so automatically, Bijan, come on down. You are automatically in this lineup. Now we know Judkins at home against the Bills. Dowdle, we just talked about it, at home against the Bucks. Chase Brown, literally just talking about it now, on the road against the Dolphins. Gainwell on the road against the Lions. That Lions one is that matchup is very, very intriguing. And then I'm gonna read it in a second. All right, so Brown and Kenny are on my bench. What's your thoughts, Deshaun? I know you're making money, but I'm all ears, guys. I'm playing for 2K. Sheesh. All right, so let's dissect this. So Bijan, of course, he's already in. So we pretty much picking two out of four now. So Brown, I do like Brown a lot today. Like just mentioning, like, Dolphins defense is trash. Red zone opportunities. I would imagine the Bengals come out and, make a statement type deal. So I kind of want to pencil in Brown into that mix. Gainwell is interesting too, because the over under of the Lions Steelers game is 52.5. I mean, we do expect a lot of points to be scored. The flow of the game does give Gainwell some upside there for sure. So yeah, that's pretty tough. And then talked about it earlier, the Bills and the Browns. Judkins, I like that matchup. Against the Bills. But then it's like, at that point, what do you trust more? Do you trust Shedeur and that offense to move the chains against the Bills at home and to put Judkins in a more scoring opportunity? Or do you trust Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, who throw the ball to either Gainwell, DK Metcalf, or all 10 of their tight ends? That's the part for me. And then Deshaun says, Judkins, great matchup, but unfavorable game script. Yep. If he scores early, he's good. I'm taking Bijan, Chase Brown, and Dowdle. I think Judkins and Dowdle are close, but he's good either way, just not playing it. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. And as far as Dowdle, in a very important game, I'm pretty sure they're going to lean on him a lot in that matchup. That's what I think. So yeah, I will co-sign that, Deshaun. I'm with you. Bijan, Chase Brown, and Dowdle. I co-sign that. So hopefully that pans out like we think it will. All right. So, and I guess back to that Dolphins Bengals matchup here. So Deshaun says I like T for the TD parlay. All right, we got him on the like list. And he also said, with you as under center, only trusting A Train. Yep, pretty much. That's it for the Dolphins. Fantasy, pure fantasy. Like, if it's not H-N, I'm not suiting up any Dolphins in my lineup. But not like I have any Dolphins on my team to begin with outside of H-N. So yeah. All right. This next one here. Yeah, so Deshaun, I'm not putting anybody on this TD parlay from this matchup here. It's gonna be a good game, but I'm just not doing it. Jacksonville going to Mile High to play the Broncos. Can't do it. You sound like me all week. I guess great minds think alike, I suppose. I mean, it's tough. It's definitely tough. Sean said, "Yep, a lot of back and forth in that Bucks game. More opportunity for Rico to score, but at what point will Cleveland abandon the run and throw because of Josh Allen and company up on the score?" Yeah, yeah. Like that's the game script that we expect now. To what would like flip the game on its head is to where the Bills offense all of a sudden can't generate any offense, getting threes and out. Miles Garrett is just wrecking their game, and then you're pretty much having a lot of probably about 15 to 20 touches for Quinshon Judkins. That would wreck the game script, but that's not the game script we expect though. Sean said, "Good luck to the famous. Pocket that 2K big dog." Yeah, for real. For real. That'll, pretty much in this year or start next year with a bang, for real. Definitely win that. All right. So yeah, the Jags Broncos game. Broncos are favored by 3.5. 46.5 over under. I still have a hard time believing in Jacksonville. It's more so I know the defense is good. Their defense is good. Broncos defense to me is a little bit better, but they're both on the upper echelon of things. The Jags offense, I have trust issues. I know Trevor Lawrence has looked pretty good. Travis Etienne has been stellar lately. Stellar. I still don't trust it. And it goes back to the quarterback. I do not fully trust Trevor Lawrence. I just don't. I don't. But one player in that offense that they traded for and they just got a contract extension, his name is Jacoby Myers. He's been the unsung hero of that offense that just pretty much continue to move the chains and get them in score position to find the end zone. Jacoby Myers has been doing his thing. And if Brian Thomas Jr. is drawing PS2, and then I guess Myers can definitely continue to ball out. That's the path uh, for Jacksonville there. And then maybe ETN can get his. And I just know the Broncos lead the league in sacks. It's not close. And then on the Broncos side of the ball for the offense, I think Sutton has a good game again. I think he does. Bo Nix. I mean, that's my guy. If you don't know, Bo knows. And offense is productive. I still not trusting anybody in this game for TD, but nevertheless, points should be scored. Broncos offense should be a little productive here, a little bit. All right, go back to this. All right, so he said, "Okay, guys, I'm switching out Judkins and Chase Brown. I'm going to come back next week and tell you how big of a winner I am." That's what we want. We you got to believe. If you don't believe, then how can anybody else going to believe? So, and that's what I believe too. You going to let me know you in the finals, and we gonna get it done. All right. Sean says ETN red hot dog. He's going to like us. All right, fair enough, fair enough. Along with Myers, fair enough, fair enough. If Jacksonville plays well against that defense, then they'll make me a believer. Yeah, maybe so. I might be swayed at that, on that one, but I'm just having a hard time. But that might do it. I mean, Broncos are they're the number one seed in the AFC right now. I mean, so yeah, we'll see. All right. The famous said, "If I win, I'm gonna need you guys to turn super chat on so I can share the love." Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I would extend an invite for you to come on here if you want to. That's your call, but you do it. Definitely have an invite to come on if that happens. All right, so we got one here from Mere Money Javante Bucky or JMO for flex. All right, so I'm assuming Javonte Williams, Cowboys hosting the Chargers. Bucky Irvin on the road against Carolina, Jamo in that game. In that game that we want to discuss soon, at home against the Steelers. All right, let me ask you this. In fact, I'm gonna ask you two questions. Full PPR, half PPR, or standard scoring, and then also, do you need safe points, or you need to really I guess break the bank open, go for the home run per se. Deshaun said, Jamo, he's going against my Steelers. Deshaun, just so you know, I'm a huge Steelers fan today. I need your Steelers to win. I need your Steelers to go out there and dominate. Now, from an unbiased perspective, I think Jamo does go to flip off. But from a biased perspective, I need your Steelers to do it. Hashtag Steeler Nation, hashtag here we go. Like, I'm still looking for a terrible towel, Deshaun. Like, I'm gonna be cheering for your team. I need them to win. But yeah, back to this. Yeah, let me know those two things between the scoring aspect and if you need, safe points or you need to go for the home run here. But nevertheless, Jamo has a really good matchup. Really good matchup. All right. So as I await that, a game that we kind of talked about already to a certain degree. Oh, hold on. Hold on. If I get my computer to work. There we go. He said, I bet you are, but we won't. I'm a realist and I'm praying I'm wrong. Believe me. Hey, it's the National Football League. We seen stranger things happen. I mean, hey, you thought the Packers were gonna beat the Bears, and it looked like it for about 58 minutes of the game, and lo and behold, the Bears won. So maybe the same thing could be said about the Steelers. Like, John, you gotta believe. We just talked about it. You gotta believe. I believe. You gotta believe too. And I need the Steelers to win, so my Bears can officially clinch the playoff spot. So, all right, Falcons, Cardinals. Falcons are favored by 3 on the road, 48.5 over under. Look, a lot of fantasy points should be scored in this game. The key word is should. I was talking about this yesterday. The Falcons have elite talent on offense as far as playmakers. You have it. Bijan should be Bijan. But the pass catching situation, that's the one that I am concerned with. I mean, if there's enough footballs to go around between Drake London and Cal Pitts, who has been balling out of control as of late and is probably going to get paid in the offseason based on what he did last week. If Kirk Cousins is dropping back as many times as Jacoby Brissett has in the last few weeks, if he can drop back 40 to 50 times, I think everybody wins. I think Drake London owners win. I think Cal Pitt owners win. Bijan Robinson owners should definitely win in that regard. I think everybody wins. That's what we want. Deshaun, I have Bijan Robinson on the love list this week. I'm just letting you know. As far as the Cardinals, I mean, we're once again Jacoby Brissett dropping back 40 to 50 times. Everybody wins. Trey McBride definitely wins. The concern with Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe he does enough with a bunch of those dropbacks to where he's productive. The Michael Wilson effect that we're hesitant on because of the return of Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody wins. That's the game script that we want. It can get there. 48.5. The Cardinals know that they not the greatest at running the football. I mean, they're down to their fourth string running back, Michael Carter, at this point. I mean, if for whatever reason Falcons stop the run, guess who's throwing the ball 100 times that game? So it can get there. That's what we want. That's what we want. All right, going back to the comments here. All right, sign me up, brother. All right. If you're in the Discord, send me your email address. If not, then matter of fact, I'm gonna send the link for the Discord real quick for anybody that wants to hop in. I mean, the community is growing each and every week. And for the people that's watching, join the Discord. I mean, we do have a Discord league. And everybody in there wants the same thing. We're all trying to win. All right, and when my computer acts right, then I'll paste the link. Until then, give me a sec. No J Love though, bro. I know a win is a win. Yeah, no Jordan Love, but I mean, heck, no Roma Dunze, no Luther Burden III, and in my opinion, Malik Willis made it harder for us on defense than Jordan Love was at that point in the game. All right. Okay, so OG Bobby, Big Jerome. All right. Pickens, or is that McConkey? I just want to verify that's you talking about Lad McConkey on that one. Let me know. Okay, get rid of this. All right, Bijan Love list, Trey McBride like list, absolutely. Trey McBride has been doing his thing. He said every time I say no to JMO, he proves me wrong. Yeah, man. So in one of the leagues I'm still in, I do have JMO. I'm playing him today. And it is a true boom or bust. I know the second half of the year he's been more productive than he was the first half of the year. But nevertheless, like in this matchup with the over-under being as high as it is, and the Lions back against the wall, I would imagine, and especially with no Sam Laporta anymore, like I would imagine he will go off. Okay, so yeah. All right, so Pickens or Lad McConkey. Whew. I mean, they play against each other. I'm going to give the slightest of edges to Lad McConkey. Just because Dallas secondary is that bad in general. Now I know Dallas is going to they should put up some yards and points, but it's maybe a little harder because the Chargers defense, in my opinion, is better than the Cowboys. And so therefore I do like Lad more than Pickens. So that's where I'm going. Good luck to you. And then always the Jags, Lions defense, or the Falcons. Yeah, I guess this is crazy because, like, even though the Lions Steelers game has a higher over under than the Falcons Cardinals, I would take my chances with the Lions defense because maybe Hutchinson can be a game record. Maybe the Steelers team, for whatever reason, which I don't need, maybe their offense doesn't show up at all. So yeah. Okay, hold on. All right, so the famous headlines, but if those are your only two options, I will look elsewhere. Yes, that's tough. I got you. There's not many other options. I had Seattle all year, but have Stafford and Puka. So I get it. All right, even Deshaun said the Lions, so I would go Lions. And then OG said, I'm 14-0 in this one. Sheesh. No pressure though. No pressure. No pressure at all. No pressure at all. No pressure. I still like Lad. Deshaun, what you think? Lad or Pickens? And then always the Jags said other defensive options are Bengals. Nope. Patriots. Ugh. It's like if the Patriots was at home, I probably would consider it. I know the Ravens have underachieved so much this year, but they're in the kind of like the same boat as the Lions to where backs against the wall, like you have to win. Like they're gonna come out swinging, they're gonna give their best effort type deal. And it's prime time football. That's the thing. So yeah, I would go Lions. I don't have the warm and fuzzies about any of this, but hey, you made it this far, so it's gonna be all right. Pat, he said Pat's Baltimore's trash. And they have played trash. I that back against the wall factor, them intangibles. Knowing they need to win to still have a chance to make the playoffs by winning the division. It's the intangibles for me that makes some of this stuff a little bit more harder than it should. Because if you ask Steelers fans, they believe the Ravens are going to win this game. So that's tough. All right. All right, this next one here. This definitely is a one-sided affair. Raiders are going to Houston to play the Texans. The Texans are favored by 14.5 points, 37.5 over under. This means Vegas is saying that the Raiders not going to score much and the Texans going to blow them out completely, out the water. I mean, Texans defense, I mentioned it earlier, arguably the best defense in the league. It is a very stingy defense, a very aggressive defense. Have probably the best combo pass rushers in the league. Deshaun, somebody is scoring for the Texans here, and I feel like somebody needs to be on this parlay here. And I don't, maybe Marks, maybe Collins. I feel like it's one of the two. Outside of Brock Bowers, as far as a fantasy perspective, I would not touch anybody else on that team. And you taking that with a grain of salt because Geno is back, and we know how that goes. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that matchup. All right, so Deshaun said, "Holy ish, 14-0. I went 13-1, but never undefeated. I'm splitting it and going GP. I think he finds the end zone, but Lad has more yards." Yeah, that one's tough. I feel like there's no true wrong answer in that regard, but I know you're trying to get, the most points you possibly can, just like anybody else. So yeah, Deshaun likes GP. I like McConkey. I like my boy Lad, but nevertheless, I would say with you being undefeated, go with your gut because your gut has got you here this far. So Collins like list. There we go. Go. All right. Well, I guess one of the main event games, we kind of talked about it already. I'm not going to be biased on this, but I do need a biased win. Steelers, Lions, it's in the Motor City. Both teams are 8-6. Both teams are fighting. Both teams' backs are against the wall here. Lions are favored by 7, 52.5 over under. I mean, heck, who don't you start in this game? Deshaun, we need a lion on the list between Gibbs, St. Brown, one of those two needs to be on this parlay list because they pretty positive they're gonna find the end zone. Heck, both might find the end zone actually. Um, Golf. I'm starting golf in one of my leagues. Matter of fact, I got a golf and Jamo uh, combo going on right there. So I need them to put up points. I also need the Steelers to win. So it's kind of tough on that one. From the Steelers side, I say Warren and Gainwell are a little intriguing. If Gainwell is out there for a lot of passing downs and a lot of check downs, then he can get there as far as a fantasy perspective. The Lions defense is beat up and the secondary is trash at the moment. DK Metcalf should have a game. Outside of that, of course, for fantasy, I wouldn't play anybody else. Of course, you might have the Valdez Scantleys of the world scoring a deep one, or Darnell Washington, or Fryermuth, or whatever the other tight end name is, Jonnu Smith. They got too many tight ends that they involve, but nevertheless, outside of those three that I mentioned for the Steelers, not touching, of course, for the Lions. I know I didn't mention Jamo, but I mean, heck, I'm like I mentioned, I got the Jamo golf combo going on, so I need it. I'm playing it. I'm playing it with confidence. Playing it with confidence. All right, way ahead of you, I got Gibbs on Love. Some guy I don't like. All right, fair enough. All right, and then lastly, I'll say hashtag Steeler Nation, hashtag here we go. Let's go. All right. And then, all right, two more games left. We got Patriots Sunday Night Football going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Like I mentioned, the Ravens need this game. They really, really need this game. They're favored by 3 at home, 48.5 over under. All right, what do we got here? No one on Steelers for parlay list. Too inconsistent. Big facts. Not doing it. Not doing it whatsoever. They should have some big games, but I'm not putting them on the list though. Not gonna do it. All right. So yeah, Patriots, Ravens. Look, I'll bring it to one of my situations. So Ian, who been ducking us all year, being a part of this this Destination Fantasy panel. I'm actually playing Ian in the finals of the Discord League. In my opinion, he's in the world of hurt, but because I had Puka, and the rest is probably history on that. But nevertheless, I have Lamar Jackson and I have Dak Prescott. More than likely, I'm gonna make the switch to Dak Prescott because ever since that injury and Lamar coming back from the injury, he has not looked the same. Pretty positive. It's still bothering him, and that offense is broken. Like, they have too many pieces on this team for them to be where they are, and that's just a fact. Now, last week was a little encouraging, but once again, I mean, then again, they played the Bengals. But if you have made it this far with Ravens players, I mean, I would imagine they will come out and play the best brand of football they could probably play, knowing their season is balancing here. I'm just saying. Now, if you have better options, by all means, but if you have to play a Ravens player, I'm just throwing that out there. As far as the Patriots are concerned, look, and Deshaun will tell you this. I wish Ramondre Stevenson would just, voluntarily retire and have Travion Henderson out there for giving me about 20 touches. Because that man is a home run hitter, and he has been good when given the opportunity. Matter of fact, he's been great when given the opportunity. The pass catches for me for New England kind of, it's like sometimes I don't know where it's going. Keyshawn Booty, he has the game. Could it be Diggs? Could it be Pop Douglas? Could it be Hunter Henry? Like, I don't know. One thing I do know is Drake May is that guy, and he is excellent. So, and of course, you starting him without question. All right. So what we got? Travion like list, Henry like list. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. And then the last game. Where is it? All right, we got the 49ers traveling to Indianapolis play Old Man Rivers and the Colts. The Niners are favored by 5.5 on the road, 46.5 over under. Of course, Christian McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey. George Kittle on the like list, Christian McCaffrey, you already know what list he's going on. Juwan Jennings, I like Juwan Jennings a lot. And maybe we could throw him on the like list as well. But the fact that Pearsall's not playing and Juwan Jennings has been definitely very productive this year, and that's one last mouth to feed in that offense. I like Jennings as well. As far as the Colts, if your name not Jonathan Taylor, I do not have the warm and fuzzies. And even with Jonathan Taylor, expectations are a little lowered unless they can control the ball and Jonathan Taylor is moving the chains. They can find their way in the red zone a couple of times. I don't have the warm and fuzzies about the Colts at all. All right, Deshaun. All right. What's our list looking like? As we do that, here we go. All right, and I just posted the link for the Discord finally. And in the meantime, we're going to get this parlay going. This segment is unofficially sponsored by FanDuel. All right. Log back in. Okay. All right. NFL. Let's see if we got any bonus bets for today. 25% profit boost. Another 25%. Okay. Good deal. All right. So he just texted me the list. So as far as the like list, we have James Cook, Travis Kelce, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, McBride, Amon-Ra, Nico Collins, George Kittle, Jonathan Taylor, and Juwan Jennings. And as far as the love list, Bijan, Gibbs, CMC. So we're going to start with those three. Anytime TD. All right, where are you? Bijan, Gibbs, CMC. All right. So, of course, we need to add some more. Now, Travis Kelce is a plus 170. CD Lamb plus 135. McBride plus 115. Nico's 110. Henderson's 105. I'm going to go with my gut. I do like Travis Kelce today. That's plus 170. Look at this like list one more time. Where's McBride at? Because I do like that game flow. Here we go. So just a couple of factors that's going into this. Like one, I'm looking for the highest point totals. That's very telling. The other thing is just more so the opportunity by a player like Travis Kelce, for instance. Like, yeah, that game flow isn't the greatest, but due to them missing Rice and with a backup quarterback and tight end being a security blanket, and the Titans defense not the greatest. That's why. That's why I'm leaning that way. Deshaun, would you? I want to put Nico, but I'm kind of also looking at Woody Marks. Let me know what you think about that one. Oh, where that Cowboys game at? Six. Nico. All right. All right. I think I got. Okay. I got 7 here. And I will post this. I'll post this in the Discord. And of course, you can definitely, water this down if you want to. But so the 7 on this list: Bijan Robinson, Trey McBride, Jahmyr Gibbs, Christian McCaffrey, Travis Kelce, CeeDee Lamb, Nico Collins. The odds are plus 86.34. This without the boost. $10 gets you $863. If you play with the boost, the odds change to $10,794. So $10 will get you $1,079.48. So yeah, that's once again, I will post that in the Discord. I did post a link for the Discord. I'll post the link one more time for the Discord. Okay, so you like Woody Marks, but I really like Nico. All right. So yeah, we just keep it like that. second. Phone acting stupid. All right. So at this point, pretty much about done here. Unless anybody has any last second questions, comments, or anything like that. Uh, like once again, you made it this far. Like congratulations, you did really well. Um, in the 9 leagues I'm in, I made the playoffs in 6. I'm alive in 5. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, like this week for me personally, the week before the semifinals, I'm a little bit more nervous than I am if I actually make the finals. I'm just naturally that way, but I'm still not going to do anything irrational. Of course, sometimes you may have the sense of, getting too cute or, trying to be smarter than anybody in the room and, make a switch. And I would say, unless there's a crazy scenario to where you have to go against somebody that you normally play, you usually play the guys that'll get you there. Sean said, be sure to post it. I'm definitely gonna post it or text me, bro, since I'm at work. Good luck to all. I will make my return next week for championship week and King's crowning week as well. Adios. See you, man. Appreciate you, Sean, for helping out here. Still is hashtag still a nation. Hashtag here we go. Yeah. Yes, I need that. So I'm a Steelers fan today. I'll tell you that much. All right. So, and of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So, shout out to everybody that has, watched, participated, genuinely come out to watch us each and every week. Usually not by myself, but, some weeks it happens. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we just, normal people with regular jobs just happen to love fantasy football like the next person. Oh, we got a last one here. Fannin or Warren? I know Fannin is at home against the Bills, and Warren is on the road at the Lions. I do know the Bills are really good against tight ends, but I know, Fannin has definitely become one of Shador's favorite targets. So I would say take all that with a grain of salt. I would give the edge to Warren in that matchup against the Lions. The over/under suggested, the game flow suggested as well. So I would go Warren. I'll go Warren. All right. So always, Jag, if you have any more questions, like I mentioned, like join the Discord. I know we're here for maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours on Sundays, but we're definitely in that Discord 7 days a week. And Deshaun says, oh, Tyler Warren. Oh, my bad. My bad. My bad. Thanks for the clarification. All right. All right, let me check something really quick. Let me check something. I think I would. It's the targets for me that really done it. But let me check one last thing. Yeah, I would go Fannin. I would go Fannin because the targets are insane. Man has 25 targets in the last 2 games. Fannin, and I say that with confidence. So good luck to you. Join the Discord. Pull that trigger. We got Marv or Brees. Whew. So I know Marv is hosting the Falcons and Brees is, I think they're on the road at New Orleans. Um, Now we like the game flow because we talked about it already between the Falcons and the Cardinals. We like the game flow. Like we feel like these players can get there based on the game flow if it goes like it should. Keyword is should. Even with Marvin's injury, should. But Brees against the Saints defense. So I would say this: Brees is the safer option by default because of health status, but Marv has a higher ceiling. If you need the points, I would say Brees, but Marvin's ceiling is definitely higher. And Deshaun said it like MHJ for PPR, Hall for standard. He's more likely to find pay dirt. Yeah. And then Purdy or JJ. I would go Brock Purdy. So I naturally have trust issues, but I definitely have trust issues against that particular quarterback. 9, I don't trust. That's me. All right. All right. At this point, post it one last time. All further questions to the Discord. Deshaun went Purdy as well. I'm getting ready to sign off. So everybody, good luck to you. Next week, like Deshaun said, with championship week, King's crowning, all that good stuff. Hopefully, all of us get there and being active and participating in championship week. But nevertheless, I'm gonna be here. Deshaun will be here as well. I got 5 chances to get there. I hope I get there and in multiple. So we'll see. All right. So next Sunday, we're back 7:30 Central Standard Time in the morning. Until then, good luck. See y'all in the Discord. Bear down.